Hello guys, my name is Evans and welcome to this video tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to start looking at the February-March 2017 IGCSE ICT theory paper, that is paper 1. I know it's the first time that I'm putting up a theory paper on my channel, and some of you guys have requested me to do also theory paper, so this would be your chance, you guys. But before I go into the details of this paper, let me talk about the tuition that I'm offering for this December. Actually, the classes started on the 1st of December, so we are almost 2 weeks into the classes. Okay, so the subjects that I'm offering are the ones that I've put up here. That is ICT 0417, also both computer science, IGCSE, and O level. That is the 0478 and 2210. I'm also offering the A-level IT 9626, and lastly the A-level computer science, which is 9608. Okay, so the charge for this tuition is $120 per month. Okay, so you guys, this would be way cheaper than what some of you are paying out there for your tuition for certain subjects. Okay, so if you have more information, or you want more information, you want to find out more information about this tuition, please feel free to contact me on my email address, okay, the one that I've listed here below. And also for you can also send me a WhatsApp message if you want. I'll be able to respond to you. Okay, so for more details, I know you guys have got a lot of questions. I've been getting lots of questions. I cannot put up all the information in one video, otherwise it's going to be a very long video. But I'm happy to answer all questions regarding the same tuition, how the classes are run, for example, how much time you get in each class, for how long you're going to be with me in that $120 and the like, and so many questions that are coming up as you do that, how you can pay for the classes, and so on and so forth. Okay, so without wasting much of our time, let me go straight now into the paper for today. Let me just talk about briefly this paper. Unlike the papers that we have solved so far on my channel, this paper is a 2 hours paper. Okay, the other papers are 2 hours 30 minutes, so you must be very cautious of time, because you've got a lot of questions, about 16 to 18 questions in each paper that you write, depending on the session that you're writing, whether it's a June, February, or you're writing the November session. Okay, so you have 2 hours to answer all your questions, and yeah, you do not need any calculator or something like that, so you just go live in the exam. You just go live in the exam. All right, so let's go straight into our questions for today. Okay, so question 1 states, complete the following sentences using items from the list below. And these are the items that you have here, and you guys, you do well to go through the items. I'm not going to go through the items for the sake of time. So let's start with question 1A. A device that reads black and white lines on a product is called, and I guess you guessed it right, it's called a barcode. Okay, barcode reader. Okay, a device that inputs the sound made by human voice is called a microphone. Okay, so it's called a microphone. C, a device which is used to read the data from the bottom of bank checks is called a magnetic ink character reader. It is also called a magnetic ink character recognition, short form for MICR. Okay, so you guys, you should know about this one. You should also know about the optical character recognition or reader. You should also know about the optical mark reader or recognition. You should be familiar with these three, because they some of the automated or direct data capture methods that would be used. Okay, so in this case, let's write a magnetic magnetic ink character reader. Okay, reader. Good. D says an input device used to input the biometric details of the eye is called, and there you guess it right, so it's called a retina scanner. Oh, sorry about that. So I'm just gonna have to undo this. I hope. Okay, that's good. Okay, so it's called a retina scanner. Okay, good. Next question, we go to question number 2. So question 2, tick whether the following are examples of internal memory or backend storage. Now, the question says tick, don't cross. You know, if students start to cross now, you should follow instructions. This is very important. Okay, so tick which of the following there which are internal memory or backend storage devices. Okay, so let's start with random access memory. So random access memory is an internal memory. A portable hard disk is a backend storage device. A pen drive is equally a backend storage device because you store something there. A magnetic tape is also a backend storage device. Okay, so all these are they are all storage devices. Not necessarily the RAM is not a storage device, but it holds the content of something temporarily. Okay, so you wouldn't really classify it as a storage device. It is really a memory device. Nevertheless, portable hard disk, pen drive, and magnetic tape, these they will hold something and then you'll be able to retrieve it at a later stage. And they're not so much used for the secondary storage. They are what I would say auxiliary storage devices away from the main storage device that you have on a computer, so you can carry them around and the like. Okay, so let's go to number 3. Tick whether the following statements about networks are true or false, and again you're making a tick. So a hub is a central computer. The first thing that you should just agree or disagree is that, is a hub a computer? And once you realize a hub is not a computer, it's a networking device, then you know that a hub is not a central device, so that should be false. Okay, next, a router connects a LAN to the internet, and this is very true. Okay, so basically one of the functions of a router, not only to route data packages from one computer to the other or from one network to the other, a router really would connect a LAN network to the internet, or you would say it will connect a LAN network to a WAN. Okay, because the internet is synonymous with WAN. Okay, so next one is a bridge connects a WAN to a LAN. Okay, now we just from saying that a router actually connects a LAN to a WAN or a LAN to the internet, so definitely a bridge cannot connect a WAN to a LAN. Okay, because that is the duty of a router. A bridge, on the other hand, connects a LAN to a LAN. Okay, so a bridge would be used to when you break your LAN network into 2 segments, then you can use a bridge to connect a LAN and a LAN. Okay, a typical example would be, for example, you want to break in a school. Let's say it's a school that has both secondary and primary schools in one community school. So you can really break the network for that school. You say primary section, they will have their own LAN network, and secondary section, they will have their own LAN network, and between these 2 networks for these different school levels, you're going to put a bridge. Okay, so a bridge connects a WAN to a LAN. That is false. Okay, lastly, a switch connects computers in a network. That is very true. A hub and a switch are all network devices, and their job basically is to connect computers together. A hub, even though it connects computers together, just like a switch. The only difference between a hub and a switch is that with a hub, it broadcasts all data packets to the computers that are connected to it. With a switch, it has somewhat some intelligence, so to say, in that it learns the addresses of the computers that are connected to it, and then it begins to send specific data packages to specific computers depending on the address that is contained in the message header. Okay, so yeah, so done with question number 3, and let's go to question number 4. Okay, so question number 4 is about databases, and the question reads: the manager of a restaurant uses a database to store data about the food the restaurant uses. Okay, so part of the database is shown below. Okay, so that is the database that you have there. You have the table, you have food type, packs in stock, last order received, and reorder. Okay, the question says below is a list of data types. Next to each one, write down the field name which most closely matches the data type or that data type. Okay, so each answer must be different. Okay, so you look at the data type. You have the date data type, the text data type, the boolean, as well as numeric. Okay, so then you're going to look at the field names. Now the field name is actually the header of each column, the heading on each column. So all these are actually field names. So food type is field name for column 1, packs in stock is field name for column 2, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's start. We need to identify which field contains the date. Okay, so just by looking, you notice that actually this field, which is column number 3, last order received field name contains the date. Okay, so here you say last order. Now you need to write it the same way it is written: last order received. Okay, okay, next we need to find which field name actually contains or matches the text. Okay, so text is food type. Okay, just by looking, that's where you would find food type. Boolean is reorder. Now you are told that you can only use each answer once. Okay, so even though you might say that reorder could be let's say text, because you have some characters in there, and the date could be text as well, because you have got some slash in there, so text would accept that. Once you do that, then you run out of options, because you have got only date, you've got date, text, boolean, and numeric. So if you use text, for example, for date, then what are you going to put for date there? Okay, so this is why the question is you must follow really the question very carefully, because you need to use only one data type for one option. Okay, right. The last one is numeric, and numeric, of course, would be this field here, which is packs in stock. Packs in stock. Okay, so done with question number 4, and now we proceed and go to question number 5. Describe how security can be improved in Wi-Fi network. Now, you guys, I'm sure most of you do have Wi-Fi networks in your homes. You do have routers in your homes, and you probably are watching this video from the internet within your house. Okay, and every other computer is connected, whether your phones, your laptops, your desktops, they are all connected to the router in your home. Okay, so the router in your home would be a very good example of a Wi-Fi network that is being created in your home, and there will be some security features that you need to take note of, so that your network is secure. Outsiders or somebody who's near your house should not just tap into the network and begin to use your data. Okay, otherwise people can commit crime with your network, and the IP address would really show that it's coming from your network. Okay, so what are some of the security features that you need to work with so that your network is secure? The first thing that I would want is that your router must be secured. So secure the router with a strong password. Okay, it's very important that somebody who's trying to access the router, they should, if should they find the signal from the router, they should not go through or use that signal unless they have a valid username and password. Okay, the next thing that you can do is actually to enable encryption on your router. Okay, so there is what is known as a Wi-Fi protected access. Okay, and you can this is known as WPA. Okay, in case you've seen this, you can encrypt, okay, your key here. Okay, you can encrypt your key. Okay, so once you enable this feature, the information on your router is actually going to be encrypted. Okay, the other thing that maybe I can talk about is enabling your service set ID. You can once you enable that, you don't have to broadcast that. Okay, so your service set ID or identification, if you want, which is simply the SSID. Most of you probably have seen it. This is the name by which your network will be identified. So if you scan for that network, you are likely to find that network available. It's more like what I would say, like for example, on a Bluetooth device, if you enable discovery on your Bluetooth device, and then if somebody scanned and then they were able to find within the radius a device with its Bluetooth turned on, the name of that device would be equivalent to the SSID by which that device is identified. So avoid so service set identification should not be broadcasted. In other words, this should not just be visible to every Jim and Jack. Okay, so this should not be broadcasted. Okay, should not be broadcasted. To broadcast is to send to all capable devices. Okay, that I mean capable of receiving the signal. Then you broadcast, like more like what a hub does. When it receives the signal, it broadcasts to all the computers that is attached that are attached to it. Okay. Lastly, you can also remember this is 2 marks, so you just have to give about 2 points. You can also disable let's say disable remote administrative or admin control of the router. Okay, so if somebody gains access to your router and then let's say it's your neighbor and your router is poorly configured in terms of the security, and your neighbor gets access to it, he can lock you out. I mean, just change a couple of passwords on your router and begins to control or permanently adds this device as part of the devices on the router. Okay, so yeah, I think for the sake of time, I won't proceed there, but other reasonable answers that you could mention, things like the use of dedicated security software on your router, which would really enable you to have more control of that router. Even things like changing the MAC addresses, changing the router IP address and stuff like that once a while also can help improve the security. Suppose somebody got a hold of your router address or your MAC address. I mean, if you can change this, that will be fine. Okay. Let's see, question 6. Okay, so question 6 says that I don't know what this name is. I don't know if it's so shit. I don't know. My friends would be able to, from the Indian coast or from India, would be able to read it nicely. I would love to know how that name is pronounced. I don't know if it's Sakij or Sukij or whatever. So this guy or this lady has just discovered a large amount of spam emails in her inbox. Yeah, it's a lady actually, and is worried it may be a phishing attempt. Okay, so most of you guys, I'm sure you've come across spam. Okay, lots of emails, unsolicited emails. In your inboxes, in your spam folder, and stuff like that. So, what are some of the dangers of opening spam email? That's what the question is asking you. Okay. So, one of the things that you should know is that uh, not every spam email is bad. Okay. There are some organizations that send their newsletters. Maybe some they send as frequent as every day. Some they send weekly. Some they send monthly, and on and so on and so forth. And some of those spam emails, we don't really mind them. But again, there are other people who are just bent on committing crime. They just bent on being just fraudsters, and they do send spam emails as well. And there are actually some dangers of actually opening some of those spam emails which are coming from people that you don't trust. Okay, now, besides just the fact that spam can populate and clutter your inboxes, some of you, I know you've some spam mails as over 1,000 unread emails. Okay, so just, let's say, beside just filling up your inbox with, let's say, with cluttered emails, excuse me, okay, with cluttered emails, spam, okay, could be used as a phishing mechanism. So opening such an email, you'd be prone to a phishing mechanism, especially if you open it and you reply. Okay, so if you open it and you reply, this alerts maybe the spammer or the guy who sent you the email that, hey, this email address is active. Usually spammers, they don't even know who they are sending the email address, I mean the spam email to. What happens is that they have got, for example, sophisticated software that is capable of generating email addresses based on how your browsing behavior on the internet, and they get a hold of these email addresses and they begin to send some of these spam emails to your inboxes. Now, what you do is that when you reply to one of these emails, then you basically are alerting this spammer to say, well, my email is active, and this guy will get a hold of that. And then, for example, if they are trying to fish out some information from you about your bank details, your name, your address, and stuff like that, and you give out this information, you are actually empowering them. Okay, spam could also be a source of viruses. Okay, spam could be a source of viruses or spyware, keyloggers, and stuff like that. Okay. etc. Okay, so much that your computer would be infected just by opening up something, especially these email addresses, or rather emails that come asking you, or with an attachment and asking you to see, click here to see. What do you want to see? you just you're just going to see your computer being infected. Okay, don't be curious. There's that saying that goes that curiosity what killed the cat. Okay, wanting to see. Okay, a good example is Tom and Jerry. Okay, and Tom is always curious. He always wants to see what Jerry is up to, and that lands him always in problems. Okay. Okay, so I'll end here for this question, but there are other things that probably you can say that may be vital. But again, like I said, you need to look at the number of marks that are there, and when you look at the number of marks, in this case, it's 3 marks, so you have 3 points that you can give. Okay. So next question. Um, the next question is part B of the same question 6. Spam is sometimes associated with phishing emails. So describe how this same lady would recognize a phishing email. Okay. So the first thing that you should know about phishing email is that it looks too good to be true. And when something is too good to be true, sometimes or oftentimes it is not true. Yeah, so it looks too good to be true. Somebody once sent me an email that one of my ancestors actually left an inheritance for me from the US, and it was about $500,000 of money that was left as my inheritance. Okay, and so they were asking me to send my details so that they could wire this money to me. Okay, and they gave me sort of an ultimatum of 10 days, otherwise I'll forfeit that offer. Okay, so but coming to think of it, I do not have an ancestor or somebody who passed on from the UK, or rather from the US, and I do not know of a relative who is in the US, and that actually was not true. But it looked like a legit email because it had even some Bank of America, something like that at the bottom there. But the funny thing was that the email address, so it was like general manager, the email address was like general manager, okay, at Gmail. At gmail.com. So you wonder, this bank manager for this Bank of America actually sends business emails using Gmail. That is not correct. Okay, so it looks too good to be true, but when you begin to scrutinize this email, you begin to realize that actually this cannot be true. How can the general manager for the Bank of America, if as though even such a bank exists, send me such an email using Gmail? Okay, so yeah, so that is it looks too good to be true. The next thing that you can notice is that there is some spelling, grammar, because some of these fraudsters, they're not educated. I'm sorry to say that, but some of them, or most of them, they're not educated, so they are prone to making some of these errors when writing emails. Okay, the email doesn't sound formal. It sounds like, it's somebody who's trying to trick you. Okay, so the the email contains spelling, grammar errors and stuff like that. So spelling, grammar errors. Okay, and there are also things like generic names that are used. Okay, so the use of generic names. I talked about addresses, like the one that was used for me. Generic name use, addresses and stuff like that. Also, some of the links that are used, they have actually some of the links that are used do not match the content of the email. Okay, so she should check all the links that have been used in the email. For example, Somebody's talking about maybe winning some lottery, not lottery, lottery, yeah, winning some lottery of some games of some kind, and the email or the links that are being used there are maybe for watching a game, a soccer football match and stuff like that. Basically, I don't have a good idea example, but you notice that the links that I use I wish I could open one of these emails because I have a couple of them in my Yahoo email address. Okay. Um, for the sake of time, I'm going to end here with this video, and I'm going to continue in the next video with question number 7. Okay, so I don't want to have these videos too long, so let me end with this video here, and then I'll continue with question number 7. So remember to subscribe, share, like, comment on my videos, and I'll see you in the next video soon.